live. Oh, I'm so excited. So first of all, welcome everybody, Slice of Pie. This is Teen Thursday with my co-host Isabella. And y'all, we have a celebrity in the house. We are so excited to have Honeysuckle Moon. I know a lot of folks know who you are, so we're gonna dive in and get to know more about you. But before we even get started, I just genuinely want to say thank you, because you were one of the first people that I reached out to months ago when we were starting these lives. So it's such an honor to have you here. And also thank you for trusting me enough to come on when nobody had any clue what I was trying to do, and you trusted and believed me. So just from a personal, straight up, thank you so much for doing that.
Of course. Thank you so much, Shelly. It is a pleasure to be here tonight with both you and Bella and find out what it is that you're doing out here in these electric airwaves. Just really hold positive mom and daughter space. So I'm very thankful to be here tonight.
Oh, I love that. All right. So Bella, I'm going to turn over to you to do introduction and tell us a little bit about Honeysuckle, and then we'll go into, you don't have to read the whole thing because I got to talk to her too. Okay, we're fighting for your attention tonight. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, again, welcome to our wonderful guest, Miss Honeysuckle Moon. We are so insanely happy to have you here with us tonight. Honeysuckle Moon, her company, was established in 2005 as an independent skincare and wellness product manufacturer. This organization supports local and global wellness communities of color by providing intricately handcrafted plant-based apothecary products and spa therapies for skin, hair, and body through her roots, trees, and flowers.
It's a
wellness lounge,
right? And the wellness lounge, and I want to dig into the Herban Wellness Lounge, and I'm gonna shamefully talk about Jamaica as much as I can as well. And by the way, for y'all who are in the room, if you're watching the live, wherever you're dialing in from or you're chiming in from, make sure you hit the like button so they can keep us on this channel. I wanted to find out more about how you started your company, like what your actual journey was like. Like, how did you get to Honeysuckle Moon? How did you get this started?
That was truly a gift from the Most High. After being in corporate America for about a decade and, kind of moonlighting as a spoken word artist and writer, I surrendered, and I went on a 9-month sabbatical. And during that time, I began to notice, some variances that really I needed to get more of a handle on as it related to both my daughter and my self-care. And before I knew it, in the midst of that prayer, recipes started coming to me. Certain herbs started being revealed to me. And one of my Pan-African elders gave me a big bucket of shea butter and a huge block of black soap, the raw black soap, and was like, take these home and see what you can do with it. And so between that as, a cultural foundation and really remaining open to what God has to share with me, those recipes began to come to my mind, and I would write them down. And guess what? Every time the recipe was perfect. There was never going back to the drawing board. It was never, I'm going to take 3 years to try to figure this out. It was like, no, you have to do this, and not just for yourself. Make enough for the people and you will be blessed.
Wow. This is a whole sermon. I'm taking it all in. There are so many layers. First of all, the fact that you were open, and then you actually received, and then you did something about it. Because I think a lot of folks, we ask for what's our purpose, and we ask God for whatever, and then when it shows up, we don't do anything with it. And in your case, you literally took it and built this incredible organization. So Bella, I'll let you go with your question number 2.
All right. Our question for you is, did you always know you wanted to do this type of business, and what challenges did you face in setting up your business?
So that is a very good question because as I got deeper into my spiritual walk, I realized that this was the very first thing that I ever did. Like, I remember being in my yard in rural Louisiana, and I was pulling rabbit grass and, things that looked like they could be edible. And I had like the mud pies, and I was working that mud and working those herbs. And so that is literally my oldest memory on earth. And my mother actually reminded me once I got deep into the wellness arts, and I must have been starting the massage therapy certification about that time. And she said, "Baby, don't you remember that you told me back when you were in high school that massage therapy was one of the things that you could see yourself doing?" And so I'm certified in massage therapy. While I don't practice, I do incorporate it into my skincare platform, but I am a licensed plant-based skin therapist. So that's
Wow.
great. And I use that to literally uplift who it is that I am as an herbalist. And so when you speak of challenges, of course there were challenges, because when I started my line back in Q4 2005, everybody was still in love with Bath and Body Works.
Oh yeah.
No awareness around, you don't want any of these alcohol bases, you don't want any of these artificial colors. There was no consciousness around that. And so I was literally fighting a giant from the get-go to get people to become more conscious about what it is that they put onto their bodies, just as we put into our bodies.
And that, I don't think we should even, let's not overlook that, y'all. Again, for anybody watching the replay, that the amount of work that, first of all, the amount of work that goes into building this brand, but the fact that the timing and when you launched yours, it wasn't, everybody wasn't on the self-care wagon either, to be honest, right? People were not, hold on, there's comments. I'm trying to keep up with the room. Honeysuckle, your skin is flawless. I'm getting to it, Tina, because we're all like, we need to know. We're going to tell you about her products. And by the way, please make sure you go to her website so you can find out how you can build this beautiful skin. So the products, I want to talk a little bit about the plant-based ingredients and how do you source your products? And now I'm asking because, especially because this is the Thursday version and they're teens, I think access to great products. So to that point where a lot of folks will go to the mall stores because it's quick and it's easy, right? Or, the access is different. But how do you get to source the products? How do you build that up? How do you do that?
Well, as an earth scientist, I've always had a certain awareness, as we shared a couple of minutes ago about, the herbs and, what nature actually yields to us. And so, I have to move forward, on the daily as a researcher. And I'm always, on the trajectory of finding out what is out there that could soothe, what could do deep cleansing, what could actually heal the skin, what could stimulate the skin and the body. And so when I went on my path, and I'm telling you, I literally had to take corporate America and unplug,
yes,
unplug. And I got all of those distractions and that chatter out of my head, and I just began to listen, and I was guided. And so, I may have started knowing about 10 to 15 herbs, and then from there it just increased. And so 17 years later, I feel like I'm still a student, but I'm definitely at a stage to where I can teach as well. I've learned a lot about just the plant kingdom as a whole and how beneficial it is for our body, both topically and internally.
Wow, I love that. And so I wanted to ask, Bella, I'm going to ask about what teens should learn. So ask me as a mama, when it comes to teen and healthcare. And Bella, if you want to talk a little bit about maybe some of your skin challenges, because Listen, while we have Honeysuckle, we gonna get some help,
Let's
and
talk
especially
about
with your products. Okay, let's talk about Bella. Let's talk about your skincare. What are some of the challenges you have, and maybe how we can source it with some of Honeysuckle's products?
So we need a little backstory for this. So when I was younger, I had a lot of acne. Because I started puberty really early, y'all. So I got that puberty acne when I was young. So I would pick out my face because I didn't know, hey, don't do that. So I have a lot of like acne scars. They're going away now. But I have a lot of like acne scars like up here, especially up here. So like I've always struggled with like, acne scars and acne in general. And I think that's a struggle for like a lot of teens, just acne and acne scars and like stuff like just like breakouts and knowing what to use on your skin and like what your skin type is. Because I don't know. I don't know what my skin type is. All I know is something to make me break out and I don't like it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally understand where you're coming from. And you are by far not alone. So many young people, as they reach that stage of puberty, the hormones are doing so many different things, right? And when you put all those snacks, from your chips, your cookies, your cakes, your Popeyes chicken, your KFC, your Taco Bell, all of those things that taste good, right, may not necessarily be so good for our endocrine system because you're looking at all of those saturated fats, you're looking at the white sugar, you're looking at all of these things that our bodies may not be able to easily process and digest. And so when we have improper digestion, the very next way that the body tries to get rid of those things that we don't need or have a particular nutritional value for is it tries to come through our skin. Right? And so when you start looking at that and melanated skin in particular, those acne scars that you're speaking of, I just want to just take a moment just to touch on that because
yes,
it has a very negative kind of connotation across the skincare industry. But I want to give you another way to look at hyperpigmentation because believe it or not, I'm a combination skin type. I also suffer from hyperpigmentation. Sometimes my skin gets a little bit fussy depending upon what I had to eat. But I mainly have a plant-based diet. I do everything within my power to try to stay away from white sugar if I can help it, right? For a couple of different reasons. But what I will say about the hyperpigmentation is that is actually your melanin cells showing up as a first line of defense because your skin is the largest organ of the body. And so when those melanin cells show up, think about it like an army. So you get a cut or you get a tear in your skin from, trying to extract whatever that little bump is. Literally, those melanin cells are just going to come, right? And they're like, we got to topple and we got to close off this area as fast as possible. So with melanated skin, i.e., skin that Black and brown people have, all right, all of that beautiful melanin in every shade that we are, melanin cells actually functions as a first line of defense. And so instead of looking at it as a negative thing, we almost have to give thanks that number one, we do have that active first line of defense to come to our aid. But then the second part of that is having the necessary tools in place to go in and help balance out the skin. And so because I believe in working with plants, that also means that I don't believe in working with skin bleaching creams. And coming up, Ambi was one of the top ones. But it was not told to the community that it was a skin bleaching product, And so it's like, no disrespect to Ambi, but we got to just talk about this thing.
Yes.
There are a lot of products out there. And growing up in Jamaica, A lot of those products are still on the shelves right now
Yes,
in
yes.
Jamaica. And I noticed the very same thing when I was in West Africa. And then they took it a step further. They had huge ad campaigns in the form of billboards talking about making your skin whiter, not lighter,
Oh,
whiter. And so there is an agenda within these skin bleaching companies that really wants us to think that we're repairing and we're restoring our skin, but actually what we're doing is we're compromising the skin's pH balance and the acid mantle. And so now you end up having skin that is far more susceptible to disease, environmental compromise. You may end up getting more acne. And, once again, your first line of defense against the environment is not as strong anymore. So, what do? We exfoliate. When you exfoliate, you have a literal skin layer or two that's being removed, but it's all in how you exfoliate because you don't want it to be too harsh,
yeah,
right? And so
yeah.
find the right gentle ingredients that are effective in removing those top layers, because what you're seeing as hyperpigmentation is actually your first layer or two. But once you exfoliate your skin over the course of time, if you look at your skin like a layer cake, so let's say a 5-layer cake, we're not going to do a 3-layer, but a multi-layer cake. And so at the base layer, you've got your subcutaneous layer. And then from there, you've got your basal layers, right? And then your dermal layer. And then at some point, you reach your way up to the epidermis. And so your epidermis is actually what you're seeing that's been compromised by way of the acne scarring. And so it's just about having the right cleanser, having the right toning, and by far having the right exfoliator.
I love that. And by the way, I'll be on the site, and as soon as when we wrap this up, I'll be on our site. There's a message in here from Tina saying she's got to book a session. But yeah, winter is harsh on the skin, and Tina, I know Tina personally. She is a lady of age like I am. We're over 50, and that perspective of how you look at hyperpigmentation just like rocked my brain, because I grew up looking at it like a negative. You know what I mean? Like there's a problem, and yet if I had accepted that this is a part of who I am, then I wouldn't have put so many harsh chemical type treatments on my skin, trying to cleanse it and mask it and all that other stuff, and end up making it worse. And I think as a mom to other moms that are watching this, what I really hope you're picking up is not just what we can do as adults for our skin, but also what we need to be teaching our young girls, especially about how they take care of their skin, so that Isabella doesn't make the mistakes that I did and waiting till she's 50 trying to figure out how to correct it and using makeup. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
just start. So Tina, we'll be on the Honeysuckle Moon website together, going through her products and stocking up. By the way, please stock up for birthdays, holidays, Christmas, and everything that's coming up. So so in the the Herban, what, that's my accent coming out, y'all. It's late night. Wellness Lounge and Ecotherapy. Can you tell us what is that? What is that?
All right. So the Urban Wellness Lounge, officially known as the Roots, Trees, and Flowers Urban Wellness Lounge, is the space that I hold for persons, right? And with it, it is a multi-layer sort of space being held, because when you come into my spa location, which I'm praying will open very soon. I've got a second location. I'm just working through some red tape with the city right now. But as soon as it opens, I will be rebooking for sessions. So that is the official hub for the Urban Wellness Lounge. But the beautiful thing is when I'm out and about, whenever I'm doing my festival dates, because I work festivals between the Atlanta area, Florida, and also Jamaica. Every once in a while, I'll go to Jamaica and work a festival. And so I actually create an urban wellness lounge experience there. And so you get the opportunity to sample products. I also have chair massage therapists who I book for the festivals. And so you can get chair massage and also my urban hand treatments, which combine exfoliation therapies, aromatherapy, and hydration. And everybody gets the chance to, check out the products, fall in love with them, right? And they're like, ooh,
It smells good.
get that self-care experience. And so
Yeah.
I really love, creating those opportunities and, just really stimulating the public in such a way
Yes.
to where they didn't know that they were going to have a self-care moment. And it's like,
I
hey, I'm
love it.
here. Let's make it happen. And so the Urban Wellness Lounge is definitely my baby, and it's so beautiful because I remember when I first figured out the word urban and just the capacity to switch it, whether it be in the city or something that is herbalist like, right? And
Yes.
so to be able to see it extend from the earlier days of my life in real estate to now using it in the wellness space, I'm like, yeah, there's something about me and that word urban and, just the playfulness, but the intentionality of it too.
I love that. So we'll be watching your site for updates because I definitely want to make sure that Bella and I are there for a mommy daughter session. And of course, Tina, you can come too. Tina and everybody else who's watching, please make sure you're watching the site. But we definitely we don't want to miss out. I wanted to get your take on like relieving stress. So Bella, this is another teen thing because teens are under a tremendous amount of stress. So this is a Bella question for you. How do you relieve stress, and what advice do you have for teens and how maybe they can relieve stress?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I relieve stress in a lot of different ways. If you've watched our shows, I'm a very musical person. I'm a singer. I love singing. So I definitely find songs that relate to whatever is going on, and I sing and belt out those because that just makes me feel a lot better. Crying helps. I don't care what anyone says. Crying helps. You a lot of times
Bella.
cry, and crying helps because then you're like, oh, well, I got this out, and now it's not burning my brain now because now I'm like, oh, okay, because once you've cried, you're able to process it on because you're not worrying about crying all the time.
That's
yes.
Right.
Now, as a daughter of Rastafari, you can tell us about releasing. So, Honeysuckle, can you tell us about releasing?
I just love what she's saying about that because, sometimes when I have a facial client come in and they've got these bags under their eyes, right? And I know that they just been somewhere being a boss. And I'm like, you're not crying enough, okay? So the first thing we want to do is deflate those pockets because they're probably full of stress and water. And then the next thing that I do is I like to share an eye massage technique because the eye muscles are actually round, right? And so once you figure out that they're round, part of the stress reduction could be actually massaging in the direction that the eyebrows grow. And what that's going to do is relieve stress, but it's also going to help break up that puffiness, right? And so, Bella, I love what you said about music. For me, I'll put on some good reggae or some Afrobeat, and I love to dance. I haven't danced a lot this year because I think I've spent more time crying than dancing this year because unfortunately I lost my mom back in April. And so that's a journey for me, but I also think that it makes me that much more of a wellness and self-care advocate because it's like, the breakthrough and the heal is real.
Yes.
It is. And I know that she needs to keep going, plant seeds in such a way to where we come out stronger and better. And so, I'm looking for more of the dance time, right? But in the interim, I love my spa music. And so whether it's, thunderstorms and rain, or,
Oh,
the ocean and the river and nature sounds, I get into all of that as part of meditation. And also for massage, I get massage regularly. And if I'm really stressing, or if my body doesn't feel 100%, I will get them even weekly for a
oh
while.
wow.
Certain that, number one, I'm healing. And number two, I have enough energy to give to others. And so, spending time in nature, hiking, allowing your body to become as oxygenated as possible. All of these are things that you can do to really help de-stress. And when I'm in Jamaica, hello, the ocean, hello, the river time. All right. These are
Yeah.
things that are so restorative for me.
I love that. Something that you said about, and we're very sorry for your loss. And that just hit me a little bit different. I lost my mom in 2018, and there's a picture of my dad that looms over me. We lost him some years back as well. There's something about legacy and honoring our parents and living the best lives in honor of them.
Yes.
And so there's for me when I'm thinking about Honeysuckle Moon, that is another layer to why I truly respect what you do, because I understand that part of the journey as well. Because y'all, I can see the impact that you're making in the community, but I see what you're doing for my daughter. Does that make sense? It's like what you're doing, the seeds you're planting, they're gonna help my kid. And so for me, it's just I'm just really grateful for everything that you're doing in the community, because it's helping all of us, y'all. So there you go. I'm trying to not to start crying.
No, but it's one of those things, because self-care should not start, once we get into a job and start stressing.
Yes.
That I did. All it took was 10 years for me in corporate America to decide no more. I'm a different type of being. And I deserve to be free, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, what if we could plant the seeds of entrepreneurship and meditation? And how do you see yourself? Because it's one thing to show your children how they should be taking care of themselves. But if you could just plant that seed of how they actually see themselves, when they look in the mirror, do they say, I'm beautiful? I love the way the Most High made me.
Yes.
I'm good with me. Never mind the never mind. What so-and-so said, that doesn't apply to me, even if it was aimed at me, And so I think that it's just as important for young people to have the confidence that we learn in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. They should have it as part of their rites of passage, and that's going to be the thing, in my opinion, that will help young women and young men, because it's just as important for men as well, right? But it will truly help them step into that next season with a level of, I would say, pre-curated maturity.
Yeah.
To where it's the difference between blowing grains of sand and trying to blow bricks down. They are fortified.
Oh, y'all, again, a whole sermon. I will be watching the replay, because I'm like, there's a whole lot of messaging in here that I'm actually, that's for me. So thank you for that. I'm gonna go ahead and take that as for me. So I know that, you travel a lot, and I was curious. I'm asking for a friend to me and Tina and Bella. So in your travel, what are some of your favorite spots, and why is that?
Okay. So that's a very good question, because I'm promising myself that over the next 2 years, I will add some additional destinations to my itinerary. But, long ago, I fell in love with Jamaica. The first poem that I ever wrote as a 19-year-old was called Going to Jamaica. So it was destined.
Oh, wow.
To become the place that I love, that has literally brought me in as a daughter. and
Yes.
like really cultivated me in a way to where now I'm able to do business, but I'm also able to call it my happy place. And so, for me, I like finding new areas that I've never been to. And most recently, it was so interesting because I had not been back to as far east as Portland and Montreal. So Port
Okay.
Antonio, Montreal, Portland. I had not been there since my very first trip to Jamaica in 2007. And so I got a chance to host my daughter and others at Reach Falls and,
Oh
just really
wow.
enjoy that area. And it was phenomenal. But, another hidden gem is Treasure Beach. I actually like
Yeah.
the coast. I'm getting to the point to where I like it a little bit more than Montego Bay and the Grill
Yeah.
because it's less touristy, right?
Yeah.
And I can just sit back. I can relax. I got a chance to go through Holland Bamboo again. And so I thought that, it was just gorgeous. And so the ecology of Jamaica speaks
Yeah.
to me, but there are definitely additional Caribbean islands that I'm placing on the path over the next 2 years. So I'm planning to find myself in Barbados. Antigua definitely is on the list as well. And I recently found out, and I don't know why I didn't know this. I mean, hello, I think I knew it in my subconscious, but I recently found out that Costa Rica had primates. And I was like, wow,
I didn't
Costa
know
Rica
that.
monkeys. I saw monkeys in Africa, but it did not occur to me that they were there in Costa Rica. And I said, okay, I got to add Central America to the list because I want to see Costa Rica for a couple of reasons, but I'll likely plan the trip around the time that the monarch butterflies actually
Oh
migrate.
yes.
Yes, that's one of
Yes.
my bucket list activities.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we need to be in your travel group. we
Well,
need,
look,
we need
let's
to be
make it happen.
oh my gosh, I dropped in the chat your honorary yachty in the house, but I did not, for my family members who be watching the replay, because they do, I did not pay her to say anything. I did I know I'm gonna catch it. I don't care. But I thank you so much for saying those amazing things. Jamaica it's also a very spiritual place. I think people, when they go the tourist side, they see one thing or they'll choose another extreme. My family has been very blessed at home. Most of us are gone. We don't live there anymore, and we live, we're the gated folks, but that's still home. So I really appreciate that. You're appreciating what we have at home. I love that. I love that.
It's gratitude to even be welcomed. And I mean, whenever I come through customs
Yeah.
now, they say welcome home, and
Oh,
I take that to my heart. I don't take that for granted at all.
I love that. Hey, Bella, do you have another question? I'm trying not to take over, but my takeover spirit is real on this one.
I get it. I was wondering. Let's see. Okay. That's a fun question. What advice do you have for teens who want to go into wellness as a business?
Study. Study. And not on YouTube either. All right.
Right.
There's a lot. I mean, and I was actually on a website today. I was scouting out this website and, checking to see what products they currently had on there. And literally they were talking about a sea scrub product. And when they had the instructions, they were talking about how to apply it to the face. And I was like, no.
Sea scrub?
I mean, but it's one of those things where people think they know,
Yeah.
but they really understand that the face up maybe to the décolleté,
Yeah.
skin, and actually the very same way on your back. So I would say any skin that's above your heart chakra.
Okay.
It has its own unique function. And then everything below the heart chakra is more like terminal skin. And so, yeah, you can use, sea salt here, but you may want to use something a little bit more delicate, especially if you have a little bit of acne that shows up here, as some women do.
Yes.
then you want to go a little bit more delicate because this skin is very similar to this skin. But the skin on my arms and legs is a little bit thicker. It grows a different kind of hair because on the face, if you look very closely, our entire body is hairy. It's just about the vellus hairs, which is like little baby hair that you have from when you're first born, to your more terminal hairs that show up during puberty. So like your arm hair, your leg hairs, and so forth, right? And so I would say get into a program. And I've got a few people who keep telling me that I need to go.
I was about to say, are you going to start a school? Because if it seems like that is a natural. Now I'm all up in your business is business. Like you need to start a school.
I need to, and it's one of those things to where I've been exploring what that could actually look like as far as web-based, where I'm able to work with people all over the world versus something that is, practical, face-to-face and hands-on, to where we can literally get deep into it and I can show official techniques. And so in due season, that will happen. I feel it. I feel it coming.
I do too. I literally just saw a teachable course with it. I literally just did there she is on video, and I'm logged in, and people are watching, and that's global and it's digital. And then you can focus your other energies on the folks who are face to face and keep, finding and creating amazing products.
Absolutely.
I haven't spoken it.
And I want you to do that, because at the end of the day, when I consider what it is that I know, and part of, my path was, I had an aunt who was very good at taking care of the skin. She was not a skin therapist, but from about age 7 or 8, she started putting me by her side to show me what to do as far as like manipulating the skin. And so I had great teachers, right? My teacher was part of my wellness program that I underwent. They were phenomenal. And it's like, once you have the knowledge, you literally are equipped, and you can move further than someone who's just kind of guessing or watching something on YouTube, which is why I've been very careful about what I put on YouTube, because I don't want somebody to take a percentage of it and run with it. And then, it ends up becoming more of a social liability. So I would rather put certifications in place to where it's like, look, you've got a certain amount of hours with Honeysuckle.
That's
Moon,
right.
And she's
so now you're licensed.
And you're
licensed. Now you're licensed.
That's what
I
you
love
want.
that.
That's what
I
you
love
want.
that. I love it. Well, Tina's also she's asking you to also please do something that has natural hair care tips as well. So now we are building out the rest of all of your business. I was just thinking about teens looking at non-traditional or non-corporate type careers. And so that's one of the things that for LCM Group is part of our offering that I'm trying to scale out is, how do you create opportunities where teens are aware of these other types of jobs, but have, folks who are doing them really well come in and show them, teach them, lead them, because our kids are not, they're not trying to go into corporate America for 30 something years and wait for a gold watch, right?
Yes.
They want to create something. And so this is another one of those amazing opportunities for them to be certified. And then now they have a career. Now they can build something, right?
Absolutely.
That has legacy attached to it.
That's their own. Because at the
That's
end
their
of the day,
own.
you've only got 24 hours in a day. 6 to 8 of those, you got to rest. And so when you wake up, I know at least for me, when I wake up, I start on 100%, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready, right? But let's say I went and I gave all that energy to a corporate position or even to someone else's business.
Right.
By the time I get off work at 4, 5, 6 p.m., I'm probably at 60%. If I'm a mother, now they're going to take the other 40%. So now I'm passing out with 20% or less energy, and I can't even build my own business at that point.
Yeah.
And so, a large part of it is an act of faith. And then the second part of it is you want to have someone who has a level of experience that could point you in the right direction. If an 18 to 21, 22, 23-year-old came to me right now and they said, okay, how do I get certified? How do I get licensed? I know exactly what institution I would send them to, whether they would get knowledge from me or not. But you have to have that career path. You have to know exactly what your next steps are going to be. And so I've also done career fairs, where I go speak with high school students. But, one of the things that I'm really excited about, especially as I prepare to open the new location, is we will also have spa parties. And those spa parties are going to be rooted in wellness education.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and it goes back to kids, because the kids need to learn. We all need to learn, but our kids really do need to learn how to take care of themselves so they're not dependent on, Bath and Body Works. No shade to that company, right? Things that work for us, things that are natural and good for our skin. So, all right. So I have one last question for you. And the question is, I want to know what you want to be remembered for.
I would like to be remembered for my bravery of truly breaking the chain and believing in God enough to establish a legacy to where when my great grandchildren look back and they say, that was my grandmama. Mama Moon was my grandmama. And she had all of these recipes, because right now I've got over 80 product recipe options that you can order on my website right now, and I'm not done.
I was going to say, that's not scratching the surface.
I'm not done. And so I want to really be remembered for my bravery and self-belief to say, all right, I can do this. And, and just really being one of the pioneers within the independent Black skin and hair care business and industry.
Wow. How incredible. I'm so grateful that you're here. Like I said, I don't mind saying it out loud, and I'm happy to say this out loud. I'm just grateful because of the impact that you're making, not just in the community, but with daughters like mine. So for everything that you're doing, please keep at it. We're going to be on your website shopping, because that's how we roll. We support, for everybody who is watching the replay, please go back and visit her site, put money back into our community. So Morgan Polite, there's a mention of, she runs a store. She actually has a beauty supply store. I think she's the only one in, Tina, you gotta remind me where she is. I believe she's in Georgia, but I can't remember now where she is. But she's another young, beautiful African-American woman who is, early 20s, and she's in Brunswick, Georgia. Thank you, Tina. And she is killing it. She's the only one there, brick and mortar store. So, I'll make sure I'll tag her on the video she's all over Facebook and I believe Instagram, and that way she can connect with you to make sure that there's a distribution type something relation. You never know.
Well, I love it because I'm in
a
mood right now. In addition to my website, I recently, actually it is still through the website that I have a partnership with UPS now. And so they're actually shipping out my bundles. And so just as Amazon does with ship, I have that relationship with UPS now. I am the first of 2 Black women entrepreneurs through the Russell Center. I just want to give a shout out to the Russell Center here in Atlanta, because they helped to forge that relationship. And so that's been great. But one of my announcements that I'll be making in the next day or so as well is you can also find Honeysuckle Moon on Amazon. And so I'm looking at a couple. Yes, darling. I'm on Amazon right now.
My gosh.
So I'm working this thing out. And I mean, and it's taken some time to get on Prime. It was a big step. But, I say that to say, while I am on Amazon, while I am working with UPS, I am still very much so interested in having the right relationships with other Black businesses, so that way we can continue to circulate that dollar.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we will be doing that. That is part of, you're in the Friends of P.I.E community, and we keep that relationship solid. We definitely will be sharing, loving, liking everything that you do. And, you know, we'll be your sales sidekick on this side, because I do believe that we should be supporting each other, period. That's just how we roll. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Again, I'm elated. So before we tell, we're gonna tell these people deuces, but we're gonna hang out in the back for a little couple of minutes. So let me find the outro, and hopefully it works, y'all. But we'll tell the people bye. Thanks for watching, everybody. Say bye, Bella.
Bye, Bella.